My name is Isidro Figueroa. I'm the city's principal planner. I will be presenting an ordinance amendment for bed and breakfast homestay uses, off-street parking requirements, PZ number 21-580-05, a zone text amendment for the inland zone only. Providing some background on the proposed zone text amendment, on April 13th, 2021, the Community Services, Public Safety, and Housing and Development Committee requested staff prepare a presentation regarding required off-street parking for bed and breakfast uses. City license records do not indicate any current bed and breakfast operations within the city. On July 27th, the committee received a summary report on the off-street parking requirements for bed and breakfast uses, and the committee provided input on a summary of existing city code off-street parking requirements for bed and breakfast uses, a comparison of off-street parking requirements to the surrounding local jurisdictions, required off-street parking comparison between bed and breakfast uses, short-term rentals, and accessory dwelling units, and relief from parking requirement options. During the July 27th committee meeting, a resident of the Wilson neighborhood who is preparing to submit an application for a bed and breakfast use spoke in favor of the zone text amendment. The committee unanimously agreed to initiate a zone text amendment to provide additional flexibility to the required off-street parking regulations for bed and breakfast uses, since these uses are limited in location within the city. The committee directed staff to pursue a zone text amendment to allow homestays located on corner lots to be credited non-primary street frontage towards the parking requirement consistent with what is currently allowed for bed and breakfast inns. The zone text amendment would have the least impact to the community because it would only be applicable to corner lot properties. A bed and breakfast inn is defined as an establishment originally built as a single family residence, operated by a resident owner, and containing 3 to 5 guest bedrooms, each of which is available for rent to the general public for up to 29 consecutive days. It requires a special use permit. The Planning Commission is the reviewing body. A traditional bed and breakfast or homestay is an establishment which contains no more than 2 guest bedrooms, each of which is available for rent to the general public for up to 29 consecutive days. It requires approval of a development design review permit, which is reviewed by the Community Development Director. Pursuant to Oxnard City Code Section 16-372, bed and breakfast uses shall be permitted only within the boundaries of the Wilson neighborhood. The Planning Commission may also approve bed and breakfast uses within other areas of the city, provided the Planning Commission makes the findings required for designation of a structure as a significant heritage feature. The Henry T. Oxnard Historic District would be an area within the city that includes a number of residences that the Planning Commission could potentially designate as a significant heritage feature. In order to designate significant heritage features, the approval body shall find that one of the following circumstances exists. The architectural design of the feature is unique or of a style unique to the area. The architectural design of the feature exemplifies a significant or unique architectural style, and the feature was the site of a significant historical or cultural event, or was owned by a person or a group of persons who were significantly involved in the historical or cultural development of the city. The map currently presented identifies the boundaries of the Wilson neighborhood. Within the Wilson neighborhood, the green shaded area identifies the Henry T. Oxnard Historic District. The intent of the bed and breakfast standards is to retain the character of the primarily low density residential neighborhoods. It requires owner occupancy, no cooking facilities in individual guest bedrooms, requires parking for both the bed and breakfast uses and residential use. The maximum number of guest bedrooms for rent shall not exceed 2 for a homestay, The maximum number of guest bedrooms for rent shall not exceed 5 for an inn. 1 off-street parking space per guest room, plus parking for the owner as required at the time of the original construction of the structure, is required for both a bed and breakfast inn and a homestay. Parking surfaces may include, but are not limited to, brick, pavers, cobblestones, stamp-colored concrete, and grass cell pavement. Excessive amounts of pavement to meet parking requirements should not be allowed. Bed and breakfast inns located on corner lots may be credited the non-primary street frontage towards the parking requirement. 25 linear feet equal 1 parking space, and it's subject to approval of the Planning Commission. Staff compile the bed and breakfast parking requirements for local jurisdictions. The city of Camarillo, Ojai, and the county of Ventura and the city of Ventura have similar parking requirements. The city of Simi Valley determines their parking requirement through the special use permit. A parking study could be required to determine the appropriate parking. The city of Ventura requires 1 open or covered space for each guest room plus 2 spaces within a garage, consistent with what the city of Oxnard requires. However, the city of Ventura allows for an existing 2-car garage to satisfy both the existing residential parking requirement and provides for 1 off-street parking space for a bed and breakfast use. In this scenario, the off-street parking requirement for a single room bed and breakfast use would be satisfied by using an existing 2-car garage. The City Council adopted short-term rentals regulations on November 5th, 2019. The off-street parking is based on the number of bedrooms provided on site. 1 parking space for short-term rentals with a studio or 1 bedroom. 2 parking spaces for short-term rentals with 2 to 4 bedrooms. 3 parking spaces for short-term rentals with 5 or more bedrooms. Short-term rental regulations require permitted garages and driveways on the property to be unobstructed, which may be made available for renter parking. State law requires local governments to waive parking if an accessory dwelling unit is located within 1/2 mile of public transit, including transit stations and bus stations. The accessory dwelling unit is located within an architecturally and historically significant historic district. The accessory dwelling unit is constructed entirely within the proposed or existing primary dwelling unit or an accessory structure. When on-street parking permits are required by the city but not offered to the occupant of the accessory dwelling unit, and when there is a car share vehicle located within 1 block of the accessory dwelling unit. Staff does not find that bed and breakfast uses and accessory dwelling units are readily comparable. However, staff does find that bed and breakfast uses and short-term rentals are more equivalent, as bed and breakfast uses and short-term rentals are rented for short stays, while accessory dwelling units are rented for longer stays. Bed and breakfast uses and short-term rentals, while both rented for short durations, also have differences in that bed and breakfast uses may be rented out for 365 days a year, while short-term rentals may be rented out for a maximum of 100 days a year. The accessory dwelling unit state law was designed as a one-size-fits-all solution and did not allow local governments to design accessory dwelling unit requirements that would attempt to address the housing shortage while balancing community needs and concerns. City Council members voiced concern and displeasure when staff presented amendments to the city accessory dwelling unit regulations, including parking reductions that were required to be consistent with state mandates. Relief from parking requirements is allowed through certain processes. An off-street parking agreement may be used to allow required parking spaces to be located on a different property, provided the property is not located more than 500 feet away from the property which is generating the required parking. Travel to and from the offsite property would not expose pedestrians to hazardous traffic safety conditions. Traffic studies to determine the total parking demand for a particular use relative to supply of available parking spaces on a subject site or surrounding area. Parking studies are costly and could cost thousands of dollars. The applicant bears the total cost. Parking studies also provide the decision maker an accurate assessment of the parking demand for the project site and surrounding areas. An additional option, which would require a zone text amendment, would be to consider a modification to the Oxnard City Code to allow both homestays and inns located on corner lots to be credited the non-primary street frontage towards the parking requirement. The committee on July 27th unanimously agreed to provide additional flexibility to required off-street parking regulations for bed and breakfast uses, since these uses are limited in location within the city. The committee directed staff to pursue a zone text amendment to allow homestays located on corner lots to be credited non-primary street frontage towards the parking requirement consistent with what is currently allowed for bed and breakfast inns. The proposed zone text amendment would have the least impact to the community because it would only be applicable to corner lot properties. Staff prepared a street corner study for the Wilson neighborhood. The neighborhood is composed of approximately 690 properties. There are 110 corner lot properties. 88 pre-qualified properties, which means that they meet the requirement for the proposed zone text amendment if adopted because they are located within the Wilson neighborhood and on a corner lot, but it is unknown if the properties contain a structure that might be designated with a significant heritage feature. 16 historically designed 16 historically designated properties located on corner lots that would be eligible for the proposed zone text amendment if adopted because they contain a structure with a designated heritage feature and are located on a corner parcel. 6 corner lot properties require further investigation as to whether they would be eligible for consideration of a bed and breakfast use for a variety of reasons, including that the structures located within the properties seem to be improved with commercial, not residential structures. The map currently presented illustrates the properties studied uh, study for the Wilson Neighborhood Street Corner Study. Again, 110 total properties, 88 pre-qualifying, 16 historically significant, and 6 properties that require further evaluation. If amended, Section 16-374 would include the underlying portions presented within the current slide. A community workshop meeting was held on September 20th, 2021. One member of the public participated in the community workshop meeting. The member of the public expressed her support for the proposed zone text amendment. Next steps. The Planning Commission's actions on this matter is advisory to the City Council. The Planning Commission's recommendation will be forwarded to the City Council for consideration. Staff recommends that the Planning Commission find the project to be exempt from environmental review pursuant to the California Environmental Quality Act, guidelines 15060C2 and 3 and 15061B3, and adopt a resolution recommending that the City Council approve planning and zoning permit number 21-580-05, a zone text amendment allowing bed and breakfast homestays containing no more than 2 guest bedrooms located on corner lots may be credited the non-primary street frontage towards the parking requirement with 25 linear feet equal to 1 parking space. This concludes staff's presentation. Thank you.